This video is on wellness activities and the Blue Card. My name is Dr. Greg Muller, and I'm a licensed psychologist and an assistant professor living in Austin, Texas. Now, before you watch this video, please take a minute to review these disclaimers. They apply to both the content in this presentation and in future content that I'll release. So I wanted to start off this presentation by talking about modern trends in wellness. So I have the perception that over the last 10 or so years that we've been moving towards what I refer to as being a wellness maximalist culture. This might have something to do with the amount of new media and podcasts that have been released, but it seems like people have picked up the idea that wellness routines need to be excessively complicated. And it seems like they say things like, well, I can finally be happy, but it's only after I do my elaborate wellness routine that may include cold plunging, using a sauna, having my elderberry brew and my afternoon kombucha, eating my free-range, cage-free honey, meditating for 12 hours, on and on and on. And only then can I start my day. And if I don't do these things, I will judge myself and feel really, really, really bad. And very often people come to therapy asking for what they describe as coping skills, new means for dealing with the challenges that they're facing in their life. I personally do not believe in what I refer to as Nike therapy, just do it. I don't believe the goal of therapy is to force solutions or attempt to excessively control outcomes. I think that wellness routines can be dramatically simplified, and that's what I hope to review throughout this presentation. And so I often like to intention set in my presentations, the goal being that we can ask a curious question to think about as we move across this presentation. So the question that I'd select for this video is, how do I build a foundation of wellness that leads to a more sustainable, meaningful, and connected life? And to that end, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's referred to as the Blue Card system for wellness. This was developed by Dr. Carol Lewis at the University of Florida. She's an assistant professor there. And she's also a demonstrated expert in mindfulness practice and wellness. And she has significant expertise in trauma-informed interventions, particularly EMDR, eye movement desensitization, and reprocessing therapy. And so the Blue Card, it's called the Blue Card because it was originally printed on blue paper, but it's a 6-step system for creating a simple, sustainable approach for promoting personal health and well-being. And we're going to take a look at that across these slides. And so this is the Blue Card content. So the way that I sometimes describe this system to people is that there's often a more and a less effective way to do things, right? There's a more and a less effective way to be a plumber. There's a more and a less effective way to be a lawyer. There's also a more and a less effective way very often to be a human being. And so what this Blue Card attempts to do is identify what are 6 domains of functioning that disproportionately affect our well-being. And it allows us, when working with clients or just reflecting for ourselves in our own life, to ask, am I actually engaging in the activities that are most directly promoting my wellness? Or if I'm struggling, is there a deficit or a challenge in one of these areas? And so the 6 areas that the Blue Card focuses on are sleep. Are people getting enough sleep, quality sleep? Do they have strategies for managing sleep challenges that they might encounter throughout the week? Are they eating in a way that's sustainable? Are they practicing daily joyous movement that takes care of their body and keeps them healthy? Do they have daily pleasant activities, maybe what we would think of as hobbies, activities that promote our connectedness and commitment to life and bring us joy? Do we have strategies for managing stress and slowing our body down, slow, deep, rhythmic breathing that balances us out and helps us be calm? Do we have strategies for mindful thinking, strategies that bring us into the present moment, that facilitate acceptance and help us more effectively pivot towards the things that we actually want? And so on the other side of the Blue Card is a graph, 2 graphics. So on the right, the colorful graphic speaks to the fact that some of these Blue Card steps are should be prioritized more significantly. So, for example, somebody may be deeply interested in learning mindfulness practice as a way to enhance their life, but if they're not sleeping and if they're not eating, if exercise isn't present, we should prioritize those lower order skills and make sure that they're dialed in a way that makes sense. And there's also the graphic on the left that, if people are interested in doing progress monitoring for their wellness across the week, they can chart to see, okay, how was this week? Did I get enough sleep? And then they can think about that data and see if any changes need to happen. Or I also left a blank copy. The blue card is by no means the final answer for wellness, right? So if somebody was to design their own blue card system, in place of, just generic exercise, maybe they'll say, hey, for me, joyous movement is going to yoga, or for daily pleasant activities, maybe somebody specify that's doing archery or playing board games with their friends or something like that. And so this is a table for if you work with patients, you could perhaps use this to help, customize a wellness routine. And so I also wanted to speak to daily preferred activities for emotional regulation. Sometimes when I bring up daily preferred activities with clients, they don't always understand what this is referring to. But like I said, daily preferred activities are activities that affirm our commitment and connectedness to life. And so I took a sampling from the Treatment for Post-Disaster Distress Handbook. And so on this list, they have a variety of things: doing yoga, dressing up in a way that celebrates yourself, going to community events, going on a trip, practicing a competitive or some type of athletic sport. This is by no means an exhaustive list. If you Google pleasant activities, there'll likely be a ton that present. And so if you're really interested in the Blue Card system or other resources, I have recently posted this on my website. You can navigate to the resources tab, and under Muller Therapy Handouts, that's where the Blue Card system will be available if you work with clients and want to get more familiar with this. And so I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you're more interested in this or related work, you can go to my website, gregmuller.phd.com. You could subscribe to this YouTube channel. And my clinical practice is located in Austin, Texas. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and have a great rest of your day.